Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Hey, family. We want to hop on here and shoot a quick video in response to the questions and comments we've been getting about our last lesson that we've done on the Shabbat. Family, we've been getting a lot of questions. We know sometimes that when you see a long lesson, it's kind of hard to stick through the whole thing. So we can understand that. That's why people have questions to sit through a long message. That's why we try to make them as short as we can. But sometimes they be so deep and thorough, family, that it takes us time to get through it.
Right.
But we want to kind of make this video shorter and address the questions that you had and some of the other things that we want to clarify. So this is a message of clarification, also a message of warning, a message of to beware, family, of certain things. And I definitely don't want to repeat the last lesson that we did because, I mean, it's over 2 hours, family. If you hadn't checked it out, go check it out about the Sabbath. But we want to address some things, family. So let's kind of read a couple of comments that we saw. And we're going to address a couple of questions specifically that we've got. So we want to deal specifically with those. But let's just talk about a couple of these comments that we've gotten, family. One person said, question please, if new moon day begins each month, then 6 work days, then Sabbath, how is Saturday always the Sabbath? So they are right on a lot of the points that they're making. This is what we were saying in the lesson, family. Those that follow the lunar calendar, that really, family, and we said this, it went by the new moon. That was the month, means new moon. If we look up that Hebrew word, it means new moon. So they looked for the new moon, then they started counting the days. And like this commenter said, the seventh day will not always be on a Saturday. And family, something we have to remember also. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was not a concept that our ancestors would understand. They didn't have those things. They understood new moon, start counting. New moon, start counting. That's how it went, family. They didn't say, oh, it's going to fall on a Friday.
Right.
It's going to fall on a Saturday. You went back in time and went to say, hey, it's today Saturday. They'll look at you crazy. What you talking about?
Right.
So this commenter is actually right.
No, I was just going to say right quick, too. We have to remember, too, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, January, February, March, all of these things we know comes from pagan gods. That's how they even determine these names. And so, as Brother Raja said, they were not using that. That's why they would be looking at us crazy.
Right.
And probably rebuking us for calling on some names of pagan gods. But we're in the land of our captivity.
Right.
And so this is our day. This is how we pretty much, I guess what we call it, govern our days.
Right.
You know, to know what to put on the calendar. And I mean, this is our calendar out here in America, unfortunately.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, family, we're trying to clarify what the lesson what we were talking about. The Sabbath, is it the 7th day? Is it the 8th day? Is it the 6th day? Is it sunrise to sunset? Is it sunset to sunset, family? Different things. Let's see what other people were saying. Another commenter said, regarding the Sabbath, the only thing I will say is to be careful. You are not following an unauthorized Sabbath before Yahuwah. You can get in a lot of trouble doing so before him. Just be cautious. It's important to know, too, that the Sabbath does not follow the Gregorian calendar either. You want to address that?
I don't even know where to start or how to start. Because our thing is always to, and this is what we pray about often, is for y'all to keep us humble. And sometimes, you know, the sad part about it is when you try to come humble and you try to be humble, there are some that'll take that as
ignorance.
Assuming that you don't know certain things.
Right.
I'll just say this. A lot of people who come with that type of mentality is really sad, because when we go back and we look at their pages, because we like to know, where is this coming from?
Right.
If you commenting some things that's completely off from the message,
right,
we're like, where is this coming from? Especially if you're making it obvious that you don't agree with us.
Right.
Who's this person? A lot of times they don't even they do it from a fake account, or they don't show them their faces. But a lot of times when we look it up, look them up, these people are often fairly new in this walk. When I say fairly new, couple of months. Right.
They don't really believe what we believe.
They don't believe what we believe. I'm trying to be nice. They're not even really walking the walk outright. No. Many of them are very legalistic. Very legalistic. Everything is law, law, law. The very same thing the Pharisees was doing. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. Right. Don't drink this. Don't drink that.
Heavy burdens.
Wash your utensils before you eat. Heavy burdens.
Right.
It's sad, but it's true.
And when you say that they're not even really walking this out, I said it earlier, that family, they're not even in this. They don't believe what we believe. And when you, like Sister Abigail said, when you look at their pages, you know what? They go hard for the Sabbath. But every other aspect of their life is no type of truth in it. They live in a worldly life. You still have worldly music. You're still doing worldly things all across your page on YouTube. So how are you coming and boasting in the law when you're not even... That's what we were talking about in that lesson, family. Beware of these type of people, because these type of people, they'll cross people up. People that's seeking and trying to learn, and that's what we want to say.
Genuinely seeking and trying to learn.
We understand that new believers that are in this walk.
Right.
Why you're so eager to learn.
Common.
Right, yeah, that's common. That's how we were.
Right.
You're eager to learn. You want to make sure that you're doing it right. So we understand. And that's why we put out this video, because we know a lot of our brothers, they have honest questions. Brothers and sisters, they have honest questions, and they just want to know the truth. Right. So that's why we want to put out this clarification. But beware of these type of people, family.
Right. And so, well, really, I guess you could say this. He's warning us. He told us, he said, be careful. Be careful you are not following an unauthorized Sabbath before Yahuwah. What is an unauthorized Sabbath?
Unauthorized?
And who is to say who's following an unauthorized Sabbath before Yahuwah? And you all will know what we mean by the end of this message.
And you saying, and that's the part that kind of, it puzzles us, family. When people make these type of comments like, okay, it's unauthorized. Define unauthorized. They just throw out these words and then let you think about what it means. Define what it means. Then when you ask them, what does that mean? You don't hear from them anymore. Right. So we have to be careful with these things, family. When you hear these type of things.
And don't take anything you see on social media as the gospel. Oh, they said this, I'm going to do this. Right. We continue to say, and we're going to keep saying this. If you don't understand what you're doing, please seek Yahuwah for understanding. Don't do anything you don't understand what you're doing, because if you're doing it, you're not doing it based on faith. And if you're not doing it based on faith and you're just doing it just for the sake of it because everybody else is doing it, then what is the use? Because it's not based on belief. And that's what this walk is about. It's about belief in Mashiach. And it's about when we're doing certain things, we believe in our heart that it is the right way, it is true. And we're doing it based on that, based on conviction, based on the Ruach. Not based on, they're doing it this way. And so, you know what? I just want to be part of something to say I'm a believer and I'm keeping Sabbath or whatever whatever it may be. So I'm going to just join the bandwagon and do it too. Because that's how they say it. That's how they say you do it. But you didn't even take time out to study it for yourself.
Exactly.
So that Yah can give you understanding through his Ruach. Now this is said in love. This a lot of things that we speak on is things that we would have liked told to us at the beginning. But this is important. Understand what you're doing. Don't look at everybody else and say, I want to join the bandwagon without understanding.
Right.
Because there are so many people that are operating that way. And look, on this channel, we got to say this though. We have a lot of beautiful people, beautiful supporters. I mean, when we read the comments, it was so beautiful. The majority was beautiful. They were in agreement, and even though some of them may have disagreed, like based on the way you keep the Sabbath. So I don't know if you would call it disagreed. Maybe
they did it different than us.
They just shared how they do it, but they still had understanding that we are all working out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and also they still respected that the fact that they don't really know how we're keeping the Sabbath, because we shared already that we don't come out and boast in the law and say this is how we do this exact when it comes to the things of the law, because we don't want to be legalistic and make people feel like you gotta do it just like us, our way, and be authoritarian over people. We want people to have a relationship with Yah. Absolutely.
And that's deep. And I want to say this too, Sister Abiyah. A lot of times on this channel, family, I think sometimes we just too honest. Sister Abiyah, we just too honest. And like you said, sometimes people take that for you don't know nothing, or you're somewhat ignorant because you're being honest. When you have people who, when you watch their videos or the different teachers, they're like, this is the 100% truth because it says so in the word. Took one scripture. That's what the word said. Then look at the whole context of everything. Family, last night we were watching videos because we knew we was coming to talk about this, about the different days and the Sabbaths. And we saw these people all these different videos, family. I don't know, we saw like about 5 of them. Each one, they swore they had the truth about the Sabbath day. Guess what, family? Some of them said, well, it's approximately this date. One of them said that they was firm on the date. They was like, but this is their calendar. But we don't have a calendar yet. So you firm in the days, but where's your calendar? They wasn't so sure about it that they didn't create their own calendar. So which one is it? So everyone, just like what you were saying, everyone is believing in their heart that they're doing the right thing, which is what the scripture says. You have to believe in your heart that you're doing it right. Because we're so far from those times, family.
So far from those times. And they had a man as well who, if you look at him, I mean, the way he was breaking it down, if somebody's new and they listening to him, they'll be like, oh my goodness, he know his stuff. He know what he's talking about. He was showing the moons. He was breaking it down. But then at the end, he ended up saying, well, you know, we don't know exact. The calendars has all been altered with the moons. Even a lot of them, it was even acknowledging the jubilees that we shared in our Sabbath teaching, where they were talking about the moons, how Yah would confine the moons, confound the moons, how he would change things because of the sin, the rebelliousness of man, of Israel. Okay. And these things, if you look around, we can clearly see these things are still going on. It's still a lot of rebellion. It's still a lot of legalism. A lot of the same things that Apostle Paul went through, Mashiach, all like the apostles, the disciples. Just look around. These things are still happening. This is not no new time. And it looked like it's magnified. You know?
Absolutely.
So how is it that, just think of it, y'all gonna make everything just perfect, his moon's perfect, everything perfect for us to do it, when you got a ton of people who not even really walking the walk out. And they say, I'm keeping the Sabbath. I'm doing it perfectly.
When a lot of them, they just following the customs they learned from other nations.
Pretty much.
So let's keep reading. Family, we're reading these comments and we have a purpose why we're reading these comments, because it's kind of cementing what we were talking about in our lesson. So let's look at this other comment. Hi, my brother and sister. Please, can I just say that we believe that the Torah is the truth. Yah says to keep the Sabbath day holy. The Sabbath is sunset to sunset. It is written. The days were numbered. They were not named. That's what I just said. So they are actually correct. The days are numbered, family, not named. When it comes to the seventh day, which is the last day of the week, actually, the seventh day called the Sabbath day means rest. So please just be obedient to what is written. Hope this helps. Blessings. So this is something that we want to say too, family. And we talked about it earlier. This person says, the Sabbath is sunset to sunset. It is written. Family, we've seen lessons where a person, they have a strong argument to say that it was sunrise to sunset. Sunrise to sunrise. Some, if you read that, they got scriptures to back it up. And we don't want to go into the different days and all that because we're going down a whole other alley, family. But some Sabbaths, yes, like the Passover, that started in the evening. But some others were during the day, family. So we have to be careful when they say, this is exactly how it goes. And I think we asked this person. Yep. We asked them again, making our point, family. They just sure it's the seventh day. Okay, tell us what's the seventh day. Couldn't find them, family. Never came back to respond.
Never came back. They said the seventh day is the day of rest.
What's the seventh day? Remember, our ancestors never knew nothing about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That seventh day gonna fall on different days of the week, family.
Fall on different days.
So again, they just throw stuff out there, and that's why we warning you, family. People just throw stuff out there. I've even seen calendars. They'll put the calendar with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then they'll put the calendar with the days that's numbered. When you number in the days.
Right.
Family, they are completely two opposite calendars. They are two opposite calendars, family. The numbered calendar that numbers the days and the calendar with the days of the week on it that we follow today, they are two completely different calendars, family. So what's that seventh day? No one can answer.
We asked and
no one can answer, family.
And I want to say something too, because I seen it was my brother and sister. So I'm like, okay, this is one of our family.
Right.
Please, can I just say that we believe that the Torah is the truth? Who is we? We believe that the Torah is the truth?
When did we say it is not true?
No. They said we believe that the Torah is the truth. So who are we?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't believe, right?
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're on here.
Right.
Bringing forth messages to help people to build a stronger relationship with Yah. Helping people to come out of these churches. Talking about the things, the idolatry, all of these things that are written in the book of the law. They say we believe that Torah is true. Okay. Yah says to keep the Sabbath day holy. The Sabbath is sunset to sunset. It is written. It is written. The days were numbered. They are not named. Again, if you're going to make statements, please be able to back it up.
Clarify what you're
not
saying.
Named when it came to the seventh day, just like Brother Rasha was reading, which is the last day of the week. Actually, then says, actually the seventh day called the Sabbath day means rest. What are you telling us? Where is the instruction? Where is the day? What is the day?
The day starts how our ancestors did it. New moon, start counting.
pretty
New moon, start counting.
We provided a ton of scriptures in our other message, you all. We provided a ton of scriptures to show how they did it. And the thing is, a lot of things that we say, we back up with scriptures so that people don't say, oh,
they just coming
up with that on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would encourage people, like a lot of times when people are been in the walk, they probably read some of the books we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like, when they hear it, they like, okay, I know what they're talking about. Or they go and they look it up and then they like, okay, yes, because they remember certain things in the scriptures that confirms what, the stuff we shared. But sometimes I'm trying to be,
right.
I'm going to just say sometimes too, when people listening to the message, as Brother Rasha said earlier, it can be hard. Like when you're listening to a 2-hour message, it can be hard, to remember what something, what was said before or after, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we would just want to encourage you all. Please, when we put out messages, please, we encourage you to look at the scriptures we provide, because a lot of the scriptures we provide is going to answer a lot of questions, many questions. Because a lot of times we get questions, the scriptures was already put in the message. But again, we do understand when people, sometimes people they didn't catch it.
Right.
And so we'll direct them to it,
Right.
But I just wanted to share that.
And I'll just say this, and this is the question that we had, and we mentioned it in the last video. But like when people make these generalized statements like the other guy made too, they throw out these broad statements but never define what they're actually talking about, family. Our question to you, Mr. Torah Keeper, 100%. Are
Mr.
you
or
keeping
Mrs.
it?
We don't know.
Yeah, Mr. or Mrs. Are you keeping Torah 100%? Yes, I'm keeping the Sabbath. But you keeping it holy, like you said. Weren't there rules that you had to do that went along with that? Keeping the Sabbath? There were rules, family, and we talked about that in the last lesson. Are you doing those things? There was rules that went along with everything, family. So when you coming with and boasting in the law, remember you're going to be judged by everything in the law, family. So we have to be careful with that. And I like what this person, this is what we were saying earlier, this next comment, family, they were being honest, and this is what we're talking about. They said, thank you for your excellent teaching. I appreciate your humble spirit in this matter. We are all trying to observe the Sabbath and feast correctly to honor our Father. This is what we were saying, family. But I believe what you say is true. The calendar is messed up. Is it Saturday or Wednesday? Or sundown to sun up? Or sun up to sundown? This is what different people believe, family.
Yes.
They said, I follow another Torah teacher, and he says the moon is sick, meaning it isn't perfect to count days. Y'all hear that, family? The moon is not perfect to count days.
Goes back to Jubilees. What we shared in our Sabbath message.
They said, I don't follow Judaism. They denied the Messiah, Yahushua, and they follow the moon looking for slivers, etc. That is true, family. I have been counting day after day. Now, this person is counting the days. After the spring equinox as month 1. Day 1. There are always 4 to 5 days left over at the end of the year to the next spring equinox. Or you can add 1 day at the end of each 3-month period, but there is always a few days of waiting for the spring equinox. Yes, there is something off in the earth or sun to cause this. The 360-day year is no more as in before the flood. I pray for all my brothers and sisters to be at peace with the day of rest, Shabbat, that you are observing. Shalom to you all. Now, this is what we're talking about.
That was a beautiful message. Sister, we appreciate you, because I see she said Sister C. So whoever you are, we appreciate you. That was beautiful. When we read that message, we was like, wow, okay.
She said exactly everything what we were saying.
It's like she got it.
And again, I could respect this sister because she said, you know what? I'm counting the days.
Right.
And she said, even with me counting the days, sound like she's not following our regular calendar.
Right.
I mean, the Gregorian calendar, we all follow. She's actually counting the days, and she's even admitting, you know what? Even by me doing that, it's still off.
Yes. Now that's humility.
That's humility, family.
Because they have some people who is so boastful in the law that they wouldn't even acknowledge that. Just to say that their way is right.
Exactly.
And this is the truth. This is the truth. Sometimes you just gotta say the truth. Sometimes we hear people that'll say, why you guys addressing these things? Because Paul addressed these things. Many of the apostles addressed these things. These things have to be addressed. And sometimes it's good to call some things out so people can know what type of spirit they're operating in. Because believe it or not, some people not even aware of it. They just got so caught up in legalism and just like the Pharisees when they was like, we're gonna kill him. They wanted to kill Mashiach. I'm not saying that's what they're trying to do here, but I'm just saying they wanted to kill him, and they were so legalistic that they didn't even realize what they were doing. What they were doing,
Absolutely.
We have to call it out sometimes.
Family, we clarifying the Sabbath. Is it the 7th day, 6th day, 8th day, sunrise to sunset, sunset to sunset? What is it, family? So one of our sisters who's been following us, she asked us a good question. And again, we kind of talked about it, but we're going to clarify it again, family. She said, I have a question. You use Jubilees 2:9 to show that the sun governed days, Sabbaths, feasts, etc. But that reading contradicts what is in Psalm 104:19. So how does that hold up to the scriptural truth test? So our sister is asking, Jubilee says this, but Psalms say something different. And before you go further, I just want to say that this sister, we believe and we know that she was genuine in her comments. She's just seeking to understand because she's been following the ministry. And so when we seen that, it's just easier for us to put it into a message than to put it in the comments, because then we would have to respond to everybody's comments. And that takes time. So that's why we putting it in here with the response. So our sister said Jubilees that we read is different from Psalms. So let's read Psalm 104:19, which is what she pointed out. It says, he appointed the moon for season, the sun knows it's going down. So this here is saying that the moon is appointed for seasons, right? You want to read Jubilees 2:9?
Yes, it says.
That's what we read in our last message, family. Jubilees chapter 2 verse 9.
It says, and Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and for Sabbaths and for months and for feasts and for years and for Sabbaths of years and for Jubilees and for all seasons of the years.
So our sister is saying this kind of contradicts one another. But does it, family? Remember, in that lesson we read Genesis. And in our lesson 2, we said the sun and the moon, they go hand in hand, family. You can't have one without the other. It's not going to be just night all the time. It's not going to be daylight all the time. You have to see one to know, okay, now it's a time change now. The day is changing. That's how you know it's changing.
And that's y'all's order. They work together as a team. Together. The moon and the sun. Because we can't see the moon until that sun sets.
Exactly.
Exactly. And we can't see that sun until the dark is over.
Exactly. So our sister's saying that kind of contradicts each other, but not really. Because in Genesis 1, this is what Yah set up from the beginning. Genesis 1, chapter 14. Let's read it.
It says, then Elohim said, let there be lights.
Hold on. Let there be one light.
Let there be lights. And that was first. This was the very first thing that came. Yah said, let there be lights in the firmament.
Plural.
Lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and seasons. Now,
say that again.
This is the lights. This is not the moons. Let there be Let there be for signs and seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to give light on the earth. And it was so. Then Yah made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. Whoa! He made the stars also. Whoa!
Two, family.
So that light is also at night.
Which is the moon, right?
The moon. Right. I'm saying no. He said the stars. The stars. You remember how he said he made the stars also? But I'm saying, what a moon too, because right. That's how we could see it. Right. So I'm saying that was the lights. So it was the sun
and the moon. They were used hand in hand, family. So Psalms and Jubilees is not contradicting each other. He's saying you're going to use both of them to determine the seasons and the days and the Shabbats and all these things and the seasons.
Right.
So it's not contradictory, family.
Right.
It's saying the same thing because Yah made both of them in the beginning.
Right.
He made the sun and the moon, and we're going to use both of them to determine the days, Sabbaths, feasts, and seasons.
The seasons.
All these things, family.
And I want to say this too. Like, just because Jubilees didn't literally say moon doesn't mean that the moon is not included when it comes to looking at the signs for the seasons and days and all of these things. Because we have to remember how we often say line upon line, precept upon precept.
Yes.
So if you read all of the different books, even in the Bible that we have today, the scriptures, we're not even talking about the lost books. Just the scriptures itself. Sometimes it'll appear like, oh my goodness, like some scriptures are contradictory.
Right.
But you have to look at the overall message.
Exactly.
You have to look at the overall message, because when you look at the overall message, then you'll be able to say, okay, that's what it means.
Exactly.
We have to put it all put the pieces all together.
Yes. If we just pluck out one family and say, nah, that's not it. We have to look at the complete picture, family.
Right.
Then it makes sense, like Sister Abigail says.
But I want to say I do understand her question, and I understand how somebody would look at it and say, well, I don't get it. It sounds contradictory.
Right.
But if you really look at it and put all of the different scriptures together, it's really not, because the sun is also part of it when it comes to judging the days and the signs and all of these the festivals, all of these things.
Yes.
Think about it too when it comes to the planning season.
Exactly.
Like, how do we know when that time comes? We can see a shift when it comes to the sun.
Yep.
You know how it starts to come out more and things start sprouting.
How bright it how bright it shines.
Right. And it's way more brighter. So the sun does have a lot to do with the seasons and all of these things as well, and signs.
Yep. So let's look at a few of these different comments, family. Someone said, I observed sunset Friday to sunset. They said Sunday. They might have meant Saturday. I don't know if they meant Sunday or what. But they said, I observed sunset Friday to Sunday. But I've learned a lot from this ministry, so I'm going to be open and learn more. Okay, so this brother saying,
that's one of our brothers that's been with us for a while.
He's saying Friday to Sunday. Another person said, I get distracted all the time. Sunday on Friday to Saturday. No, they said sunset on Friday to Saturday sunset. So Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. This is what this person does. One person says, another person says, I feel there is tremendously strong proof biblically to keep a lunar solar calendar. Lunar solar family is following the sun and the moon, which starts each monthly cycle with the new moon. That said, I still value your insights, which brought me to your message. The so-called Jews themselves, in their own published works, admitted they stopped keeping the biblical Sabbath because their oppressors made it nearly impossible to do so. So say what you will, but their published works offer valuable historical content and actually reveals them for who they are. So, family, we see some people doing the lunar solar calendar. We see some doing Friday to Sunday. Another sunset Friday to Saturday sunset. One said, I keep it sun up to sunset.
So a lot of different ones, family.
They doing it during the day, right?
Right.
During the day. Not even counting, not even during the evening.
Right.
Sun up to sunset.
Right.
One said Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. Another one said I keep my Sabbath from Saturday sunrise, to Sunday sunrise.
And what we have found out too, believe it or not, there are some people who believe in keeping the Sabbath on Sundays.
Yep.
And these people are not just Christians. You know how we see Christians go to church
on Sundays.
They have people that, like, they have evidence too of people who are not Christians who believe that they should be keeping the Sabbath on Sundays as well. Right. So we just sharing this to show you all of the different opinions. And we've actually seen something on the lunar Sabbath. Now, this is not to talk against people who are doing that. We want to make this clear because we found this in a little bit of all of the different teachings on the different types of Sabbaths people keep. But we've actually seen one, and this was a big channel, where they were talking about if you don't keep the Sabbath by following a lunar Sabbath, then you are following the devil. You are following the adversary. Yep. And then we was like, whoa, you see what we're saying? The legalism here. Yep. What about our desire mercy and not sacrifice? What happened to that? Why are we placing ourselves in the place of the Most High Yah? We're not Yah. Yes. Why are we trying to be the determining fact? I mean, not determining, but be, what can I say? The person who determines a person's soul salvation. Isn't that dangerous?
Now that's dangerous, family.
That's dangerous. Yah said, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy and compassion on whom I will have compassion. That is bold to be able to put yourself in the seat of judgment and saying, I'm going to judge the people for Yah in a way. Now, we know they had some who did it in the scriptures who was judging the people, but this is different. I'm talking about judging them in the way of condemnation. You're going to hell. What? Yep. You're serving the devil. What? And these people are genuinely trying to worship Yah and have time with Yah and put some rest, I'm gonna pick this day as a day of rest, and really feel in their heart they're doing it right. And you mean to tell me they following the devil? What?
Family, let's ask a couple of questions. And we were talking about this earlier, and you made a great point with this person that's saying you follow those days, you follow the Sabbath according to the calendar, you following the devil. Right. So let's ask this question, family. I'm following the devil because I'm following the Gregorian calendar on the Sabbath. But Monday through Thursday, or Sunday through Thursday, you following that same calendar because your work schedule determined by that calendar.
To make appointments, to go to work.
Your doctor appointment, everything, time, everything is according to that Gregorian calendar. But you're not the devil when you're doing it like for your schedule. But I'm the devil because I'm doing the Sabbath on that day. But you're not. Again, sitting in the judgment seat of Yah, family, that is dangerous. Yes. Also, are you keeping it 100%? We talked about this, family. There were rules and laws that went along with the Sabbath. Right. With keeping the feast. Oh, but Yah, he gonna have mercy on me because I don't have to do the sacrifices anymore. I don't have to do the burnt offerings anymore. I don't have to do this part anymore because, I got Yahushua. But in these other things, Yahushua, nah, I ain't worried about Yahushua. Yahushua who?
When it comes to these type of things, and you're being legalistic and you're boasting in the law, then let me be completely honest. If anybody's boasting in the law against their brothers and sisters, that's not by belief in Mashiach. Nope. You're not walking in belief of Mashiach.
You're walking in works.
You're walking in your works. Exactly. You're trying to be justified by your works. Yes. When Mashiach died for us for that very reason, so that what it says, so that we are not justified by our works. We are saved by grace. We have to remember that. If we are boasting in the law against our brothers and sisters, the truth is we are not walking in belief. And you got to question your belief in Mashiach if you're doing that to people. Because that's not what belief looks like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's keep reading. Now, another one of our sisters, she asked a great question because she heard us read Barnabas, and Barnabas talked about an 8th day. And this, when you listen to different teachings and they're trying to determine the Sabbath day, they go they use these verses to determine what day it is. They go in the New Testament in Luke, when Yahushua rose. So let's read that. She was talking about Barnabas, and then she referred us to read Luke 24. So we're going to read a couple of verses right quick to make it match with Barnabas, to see what the difference is. So let's look at Luke 24, starting at verse 1. Now on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they and certain other women with them came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared. But they found the stone rolled away from the tomb when they went in and did not find the body of Yahushua. And it happened, as they were greatly perplexed about this, that behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments. Then as they were afraid and bowed their faces to the earth, they said to them, why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the 3rd day rise again. So family, I think what our sister was talking about was when it says in verse 1, now on the first day of the week. Now, if we're following today's calendar, right, what we all say the first day of the week is? Sunday. So that's how people get that, okay, well, Yahushua was buried. I mean, you hear different theories, family. They'll say that's how you get the Sabbath, because he rose after the Passover or something like that. I mean, there's different doctrines around all of this stuff, family. I'm sure you've heard of it. But, family, that verse said the day of the week. Did it say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It never said what day it was. It said the first day. Now, family, remember how they did it? New moon, start counting. New moon, start counting.
That's just the truth.
That's how they did it, family. And the days didn't fall on the same day every week.
If you want to be honest, we might as well take all those calendars
and throw them out the window.
Throw them. If we're going to be legalistic, everybody might as well take all of those calendars and throw them out the window. Even the ones that do the lunar Sabbath too, who's trying to put it on the calendar, we might as well throw all of that away too.
Again, we saw those videos. These people are saying approximately. They believe.
Right.
They're not sure.
And we're not condemning anybody. We're not saying anything bad about it. You will know if you've seen our first message that that's not what we're doing. We're just trying to show all of the different opinions.
Right.
And why it's important to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and not be legalistic and condemning our brothers and sisters by boasting in the law. Because if you're trying to be justified by the law and you boasting in that law, well, we're going to read the scriptures on it. We're gonna read it. I'm not going to go too far with my, rambling.
Right. But we just want to say in that Luke 24, family, it didn't say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Family, until we get a scripture that has one of these days that we use today, then we can say that's that day.
Right.
But they didn't do it like that, family.
Right.
We don't see our weekly schedule, what we have today.
Right.
We don't see that in the scripture, family.
Right.
It's different. They just saying, if you see first day, second day, third day, remember they count that from the new moon. That's not Saturday. Oh, they meant the 7th day. That's Saturday. They didn't have Saturdays, family.
Back then, in the old covenant scriptures, they knew how to read those moons.
They was watching it, fam.
They were advanced.
They were watching.
They didn't need pens. They didn't need papers. No. They didn't need calendars. They knew how to do this.
Absolutely.
So today we're trying to put the pieces back together. And that's the part we cannot forget. We are trying our best to put the pieces back together. And all we are doing is asking Yah to please, Father Yah, have mercy on us. Because we are trying our best to do it right. With the information that we have in the land of our captivity. He's going to be merciful. It says that he is a merciful Elohim. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. Right. Compassion on whom I will have compassion. He desires mercy. We can't forget the character of our Father.
Not at all. That scripture is important, and I believe why the sister asked it, because that verse in Luke 24, this is where a lot of people get determine where the Sabbath comes from. That's where they try to determine an exact date. But family, again, this is something that we have to remember. They didn't have our weekly schedule that we have today. First day after the new moon. Second day, third day, fourth day. No names. Those numbers would be different on different weeks, family. Just like what the sister said, the comment that we read. Even she follows the sun and the moon. And she said there are some days that are off. And we're all doing it the best way that we can, family. But we didn't address the Luke 24 in our first study because we didn't want to go down that road, family, of the first day, second day, third day. We was trying to focus mainly on the Sabbath. There's a bunch of other lessons across the internet that tries to break down these days. But again, family, they are determining things based on their best judgment. Until someone says in the scripture, he rose on Friday. He rose on Saturday. They went out on Sunday. Then we can say, okay, well, that's the exact date. But they didn't do it like that, family. We're comparing apples to oranges, family. We can't do it. So let's see exactly what Barnabas was talking about. We read that in our last lesson, but we'll just read a short verse right quick. You want to read that? Barnabas chapter 13, verse 9.
Okay. Lastly, he said to them, your new moons and your Sabbaths, I cannot bear them. Consider what he means by it. The Sabbaths, he says, which you now keep are not acceptable to me, but those which I have made, when resting from all things, I shall begin the 8th day. That is the beginning of the other world, which is the new world to come. And he goes on to say, for which cause we observe the 8th day with gladness. Now this is Barnabas saying this. With gladness, in which Yahushua rose from the dead, and having manifested himself to his disciples, ascended into heaven.
So family, Barnabas is talking about here about a future time to come. He talked about that throughout that verse. This is what he's speaking of, family. And when he said we observe the 8th day, remember, family, he didn't say in that verse the 8th day is our Sabbath. He said we observe the 8th day, which is the day that Yahushua arose. So they might have still observed the Sabbath and observed the 8th day. They might have observed both of them. He didn't make that distinction, and he didn't say that the 8th day is our Sabbath. That's our Sabbath on the 8th day. He's not saying that. So we just have to be careful when we're looking at these things. But remember, he's talking about a future time to come.
Right.
And he's just saying that we observe the 8th day. But that goes back to our lesson, what we said. And this has been the point of this whole video, family. Even if, okay, Barnabas, their Sabbath was the 8th day. That goes back to what we said about Romans. What does Romans say? Romans chapter 14, verse 5. Right here.
It says, one person esteems one day above another, another esteems every day alike. Let each be fully convinced in his own mind. He who observes the day observes it to Yahuwah, and he who does not observe the day to Yahuwah, he does not observe it.
This is what they're saying, family. We are all believing that we're observing the day
to Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm. That we're setting aside this time for Yahuwah, acknowledging Him. We're doing the best we can with the information that we have, family. This whole world system has been flipped upside down. Didn't the scripture say that Satan is the prince of this world? He controls this whole world.
Yes.
So he twisted up a lot of things, family. And we're all trying to restore things the best way that we can with the information that we have. So we have to be patient with each other, with our brothers and sisters, family. That's what we're trying to tell you guys to be watchful of, to be aware. Very, very important, family. So I hope that cleared that up with Barnabas and Luke. That Barnabas was speaking about a time to come, and when he said we observe the 8th day, he didn't say the Sabbath is our 8th day. He's just saying, okay, well, we observe that day too, because that's when Yahushua rose from the dead. So it's just something that they did, family. So we want to read and kind of close with this verse from Barnabas chapter 2, which he kind of summarizes what we've said in the last lesson and what we say all throughout this ministry, family. What we need to focus on. What should our hearts be set on? Because that's important. Barnabas chapter 2, starting at verse 1. You want to read that for me? On the next page?
Seeing then the days are exceeding evil, and the adversary has got the power of this present world, we ought to give the more diligence to inquire into the righteous judgments of Yahuwah. Now, the assistants of faith are reference in patience, our fellow combatants, endurance, and self-control. While these remain pure in what relates to Yahuwah, wisdom and understanding, and insight and knowledge, rejoice together with them.
That kind of sound like the fruits of the Spirit, huh?
That sounds like it. For Elohim has manifested to us by all the prophets that he has no occasion for our sacrifices, or burnt offerings, or oblations, saying this, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices to me, says Yahuwah. This is Barnabas. This is in the New Covenant scriptures. And it says he manifested to us by the prophets these things. And it says, I am full of burnt offerings, of rams, and of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of he-goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required this at your hands, you shall no more tread. Let's get that verb wrong. You shall no more tread my courts. Bring no more vain obligations. Incense is an abomination to me. Your new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot stand. It is iniquity. Even the solemn meeting, your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates.
Stop right there. Now, going back to what we talked about earlier, about those who say, you know what? I don't have to do the sacrifice anymore because I got Yahushua. Yahuwah is saying, I hate your burnt offerings and your sacrifices. So that sounds like, you know what? He's not impressed with that anymore, right?
That's what it sounds like.
I'm sick of that. In that same line, Barnabas is getting this from I think Isaiah. Yep, Isaiah talked about this.
Isaiah 1:11-14.
So he's getting these verses from there. So the sacrifices and the burnt offerings, that I detest that. In the same paragraph, same verses, he's saying your new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, it is iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like that's in the same basket with the burnt offerings and the sacrifices.
Right. That's what we read.
So how am I going to boast in the Sabbath if he's saying I'm not impressed with none of that? That stuff make me sick. So how am I going to boast against my brother in something that makes Yahuwah sick? That he calls sinful. It's iniquity to him because y'all profaning it.
Right. And that's under that, guys, like what he said, because they're profaning it.
Yes.
Absolutely. They're doing it in iniquity.
Exactly.
They don't even have a pure heart.
Y'all didn't transform your heart. Y'all still doing it.
All in the flesh.
Exactly. Y'all
all
still have a carnal mindset. So we can't just throw out, you know what? Nah, I ain't got to do the sacrifice, the burnt offerings no more. I ain't worried about that. I got Yahushua for that. But he's still talking about the Sabbaths and the new moons and festivals. Oh, but I got to do that part 100% right. When he's saying, I'm not impressed with that neither. So why you don't have Yahushua for them?
Right. The entire time, Yah and Yahushua, when he walked the earth, was trying to get us to focus on our hearts.
Exactly.
Focus on our hearts the entire time. This is why he said it's iniquity to me.
Exactly.
He was tired of it because I keep seeing you all do this, but you missing the most important matters, which is mercy, justice, walking humbly before me. Where is that? Where's your heart? Absolutely. Where's the spirit? You're so busy focusing on works that you don't even have the spirit.
Exactly. We'll keep reading. Barnabas chapter 2, verse 8.
Okay. These things, therefore, has Yah abolished. This is Barnabas speaking, you all. These things, therefore, has Yah abolished, that the new law of our Yahushua Mashiach, which is without the yoke of any such necessity, might have the spiritual offering of men themselves. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Yahushua's words, you all. He says, which is without the yoke of any such necessity, might have the spiritual offering of men themselves. The spiritual offering of men themselves.
Yes.
Walking in the spirit.
Yep.
Now this is Barnabas chapter 2, but I'm at verse 9 right now. For so Yahuwah says again to those heretofore, did I at all commend your fathers when they came out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings of sacrifices? But this I commended them, saying, let no one of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. And love no false oath.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
My goodness.
Sound like mercy and justice, right?
Going back to that heart. For as much then as we are not without understanding, we ought to apprehend the design of our merciful Father. Our merciful Father.
Yes.
Wow. And then it says, for he speaks to us, being willing that we who have been in the same era about the sacrifices. Whoa, so that was going on then.
That was going on back then, family. Nothing new under the sun.
The same era about the sacrifices should seek and find how to approach to him. And therefore, he thus speaks to us. The sacrifice of...
Y'all listen to this, family.
The sacrifice of Elohim is a broken spirit. Oh,
that sounds like walking humbly before Yah. This is his sacrifice, family. This is what he's looking for from us.
Yes, that contrite spirit. This is a different sacrifice. The sacrifice of Yah is a broken spirit. A broken and contrite heart, Yah will not despise. This is Barnabas speaking from the Old Covenant Scriptures.
Yes.
Wherefore, brothers, we ought the more diligently to inquire after those things that belong to our salvation.
Say that again.
Wherefore, brothers, we ought the more diligently.
This is where our focus should be.
To inquire after those things that belong to our salvation, that the adversary may not have any interest to us and deprive us of our spiritual life. I'm sorry, you all, because the word is deep. Do you all hear this?
This is Barnabas dealing with the same thing we've been dealing with the whole time.
Oh my goodness, nothing new.
Barnabas is saying, y'all need to, this is what Yahushua was telling the Pharisees.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all not focused on the spiritual stuff. So, and that was the purpose of all these messages that we've put out over the last couple of weeks, family. We can't get, and I think somebody commented saying, y'all forgive me for how I've had a negative eye towards my brother, feeling like I was the one that's doing it right and they weren't. We're all doing the best that we can, family.
The best we can, you all. We have to get it right. We have to get our heart right. This is why we come and we give the messages we give here on this channel, because we've seen it throughout the years of over 13 years in this walk. It's a lot of carnal things. It's a lot of fleshly things. It's a lot of legalism. And I remember too, when we first started, people couldn't understand like why we were not just talking about the law, the things of the law and boasting in the law. And we were like, no, because we see too much of it. And we was noticing we didn't see a lot of the Ruach. We seen more of the physical works in the law than the Ruach. And this is not to condemn. This is just the truth. This is the truth. We got to get our hearts right, you all. We got to do this. And we say this in love. If you don't believe this is in love, then this maybe is not the channel for you.
No.
Because a lot of people who's been following this channel, we appreciate a lot of you because you understand the hearts behind our message. And it's really because we love our brothers and sisters. And this part here, Barnabas said it. I mean, he said it better than we could have said.
Absolutely.
I got to read it again. This is Barnabas chapter 2, verse 13. He said, wherefore, brothers, we ought the more diligently to inquire after those things that belong to our salvation, that the adversary may not have any interest to us and deprive us of our spiritual life. Wherefore he again speaks to them concerning these things. You shall not fast as you do this day to make your voice to be heard on high. You do that private.
Exactly.
Or unless you're doing it with your brothers and sisters as a carpet fast, which is what we're going to be doing soon. Okay, and then verse 15. You want me to read or you?
Go ahead.
Is it such a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Will you call this a fast and an acceptable day to Yahuwah? But to us he said on this wise, is not this the fast that I have chosen to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to deal your bread to the hungry, and that you bring the poor that are cast out to your house? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and that you hide not yourself from your own flesh?
That all sounds like spiritual things.
Spiritual things, and it sounds like the very words Yahushua was speaking. And it says, Yahuwah, Yahushua too, when he walked the earth. Then shall your light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of Yahuwah shall be your reward. Then shall you call, and Yahuwah shall answer. You shall cry, and he shall say, here I am. If you put away the yoke from the midst of you, the putting forth of the finger, pointing the finger, and speaking vanity, and if you draw out your soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul. In this, therefore, brothers, Yah has manifested his foreknowledge and love for us, because the people which he has purchased to his beloved Son were to understand in sincerity. And therefore he has shown these things to all of us, that we should not run as proselytes to their law. If this is not deep,
this is what we always talk about, family. This is what we always talk about.
Ooh, that
getting caught up in the physical, carnal things, not focusing on the spiritual thing, what Yah is requiring of us. Mercy, justice, walking humbly before Yah, family. If we are going to try, remember, a lot of this stuff that they're speaking of, family, is of things to come. These are a shadow of the things to come. We're not in a perfect world, family. The order is all... Yah say he confounded it in, what is that, Jubilees that we read? He confounded everything. So none of it is going to be right. He said in Revelation 21 that he will create... He's going to restore everything. He's going to create everything new, family. That's what we're looking forward to. Nothing we do now is going to justify.
There's no
justification in our works. Not in this flesh. This fleshly, sinful body, family. Somebody said, when I do the Sabbath, I get distracted all the time. So, come on, family. We're not going to do it perfect.
It's not going to be
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to be perfect.
You want to wrap up with that scripture in Galatians?
Galatians 2:16.
This is important, family.
It says, it's Galatians 2:16, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by faith of Yahushua Mashiach. Even we have believed in Yahushua Mashiach, that we might be justified by the faith of Messiah, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. But if, while we seek to be justified by Mashiach, we ourselves also are found sinners, therefore Mashiach, the minister of sin, is Mashiach the minister of sin? Yah forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I, through the law, am dead to the law, that I might live unto Yah. I am crucified with Mashiach. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Mashiach liveth in me. Oh my goodness. This is the denying of ourselves. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by belief of the Son of Yah, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of Yah. For if righteousness come by the law, then Mashiach is dead in vain.
Absolutely.
And when we look up the Strong's number, the Strong's for justified, it's the Strong's number 1344, which is Dikayo. And it means to show to be righteous, declare righteous. So this is what justifying is. So this is something that we cannot do.
No.
We can't justify ourselves and be like, our works is going to make us righteous.
I'm righteous.
And
it don't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. You can
go ahead.
And then we're going to end with Galatians 3:10. It says, for all who rely on the works of the law are under a curse. For it is written, cursed be everyone who does not abide by all things written in the book of the law and do them. Now it is, I got to repeat this because we said this before. Cursed be everyone who does not abide by all things written in the book of the law and do them. This is why it's very, very vital that we don't boast in the law. Absolutely. Because we curse ourselves when we do that. It says, now it is evident that one is justified before Yah by the law, for the righteous shall live by faith. Well, no, did I say no one? Now it is evident that no one is justified by Yah, by the law. For the righteous shall live by faith. But the law is not of faith. Rather, the one who does them shall live by them. Mashiach redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who has hanged on a tree. So that in Mashiach Yahushua, the blessing of Abraham might come to the Gentiles, so that we might receive the promised Spirit through faith. Kind of seemed like they was talking similar to Barnabas, right?
Right.
When Barnabas was trying to get them to focus on Mashiach.
Absolutely.
Being governed by the Spirit. Mashiach lives in us, being governed by his Spirit.
So that goes back to what we said earlier, family. When those people try to justify themselves on certain things, I don't have to do the sacrifices. I'm justified. I mean, Yahushua died for me for that. But on these other things, I'm the Yahushua who? Sabbath, all these other different laws. I'm keeping it 100%. We can't go down that road, family. Now, we're going to say this. Brother Rasha, Sister Abia, are y'all saying the law is done away with? Are y'all teaching against the law?
We always have to bring this up because somebody's going to still say it.
Y'all teaching lawlessness.
Somebody's still going to say it.
Family, listen. And I heard a brother say this the other day. And I tried to say it in different ways, but he put it perfectly. When we looking at things in the law, especially in the Old Covenant, we have to look at what Yah was trying to tell the Israelites. What principle was behind what he was trying to get them to do. That's how we have to look at a lot of these things, family. What was he trying to get them to do? Like when we talked about the Sabbath, he's getting them to rest, to think on him, to focus on him. Do I have to be in Israel to do that? Do I have to be in Jerusalem to focus on him? Not at all, family. So we have to look at the principles about a lot of these things.
Right.
Now we know a lot of them some of them is abominations. We can't do. We're not even going to cross that line.
Right.
We're not going to do things that's an abomination to Yah. So we're not going there, family. But we have to look deeper. Again, that's the message that Yahushua taught. Paul, Barnabas. We have to go deeper than the surface, family. Looking at what Yah really required of us. And that's mercy, justice, fruits. Walking humbly before Yah. That's all fruits of the Spirit, family. That's all fruits of the Spirit. So
gotta stop boasting in that law as though we keeping that 100%. It's impossible.
Exactly.
It's impossible because it was certain customs. It was certain things that they did as a custom at that time in their land. And this is not the same. It's totally different.
Absolutely.
Some things are different. But we definitely believe in keeping the spiritual aspects of it and the things that we can do. But we're not justified by those things. And if the Ruach lives in us, none of us should desire to want to sin against Yah.
Absolutely. So how you keep the Sabbath or how Brother Rasha and Sister Abiyah do it, family, we'll say it again. Study. There's plenty of teachings that they all have great points on as far as the days, the time. Look at them because a lot of them, they have scriptures to go with what they're saying. Now, you pray about it. Pray to Yah and say, Yah, how should I keep this? How should I do it?
Right.
And then if, like what Paul said, if you feel justified and what you're doing is the right thing, and Yah gave that to you, you stick with that, family.
And let no one judge you about it either.
Exactly.
Because that's what the apostles, that's what they were saying.
Exactly.
Don't let anyone judge you based on the days and the Sabbaths.
Exactly. Because like we said, like how what the sister wrote to us, we love the spirit that she had. The sister say, I'm following the Son. I'm following all these days. And guess what?
She was very humble.
It's still off.
Yes.
And she said, you know what? Peace to all my brothers that's trying to keep it.
That's the mentality. This is
that's
the spirit.
What we gotta have. Exactly.
That's the spirit.
Exactly.
The mentality, peace to all of you.
Exactly.
And we still say that, and is anyway, I'm not gonna go there, but we still say that, and we're gonna still say it again. We love you all.
Yep.
To our brothers and sisters, no matter what day you keep the Sabbath on, you are our brother and you are our sister. Now, if you choose to be legalistic and say, no, you cut off from Yah, because we've even heard that too, that we cut off from Yah.
Yep.
Somebody told us we cut off from, well, no, not, they said you cut off from Christ.
Yep.
What? But okay. Bless your heart. But we love you all.
Yeah.
And we know this is not everyone. No. We know that a lot of people, because we seen the comments, they had more people that understood the message.
Yes. Again, we just being honest. A lot of people not gonna be honest, family. They're gonna come on YouTube. Oh yeah, I'm doing 100%. If you not doing it, you're gonna burn in the pits of hell. You following Satan. But brother, Mr. 100% Torah keeper, ain't no way you doing it all.
I can promise you.
Ain't no way. If I grab that magnifying glass out and say, nah, let me check this out. Yeah, I'm not doing that part right, but I'm saved by Yahushua. You saved on that part, but I'm not saved.
Right.
You have mercy,
so you can have all kind of mercy.
But I don't have any mercy.
And none of your brothers and sisters could have any mercy.
Sounds
unless they do it like you.
Sounds pretty prideful, huh, family?
Does that sound like what we've been reading about the spiritual aspect of it? The heart that Yah wants?
Yah tells us to walk humbly before Him, family. Anybody prideful and boasting, run. So that was our message, family. I hope it clarified some things and helped you focus on what we need to be focused on. If we honor the Sabbath day because we're honoring Yah, spending time with Him, that should be our focus. Yes. When we're getting into the legalistic part of it,
right,
family, that becomes right. Exactly. We focus on the wrong things. We focused on the wrong things, family. So we hope you enjoyed this short message. Hopefully it's short.
I don't think so.
Right, but
sometimes we be planning to do it short, but when we
start talking, right? Yep. So that was our video, family. We will talk to you again soon.
Love you all.
Shalom.